come on in to my review of Love is Blind, season 4 on Netflix. And this is for episode 12. This was where we got all the decisions. And let me tell you, I was pleased. I was actually pleased with all of the outcomes, all of the decisions. So let me tell you why I was pleased. First of all, I was absolutely happy Paul said no to Micah. I was thrilled. You know what? We live in this world now where it seems like the good guy never wins. It seems like the bad guy is always winning. It seems like the bad people are always taking advantage of the good people, scamming the good people. But you know what? Why I was happy about this? Because the good guy won. The good guy won. He saw through all the BS. He had a battle between his heart and his head. And in the end, he said, even though my heart says yes, my brain says no. And let me tell you, a lot of people can learn from Paul. A lot of people can learn from Paul on how to balance these types of decisions when you're dealing with your heart and when you're dealing with your head, and the two are not in alignment. And you know what? Paul hasn't even seen all we've seen, the behind the scenes terrible things Micah was doing with Kwame, with Irina. I'm sure by now that he has seen the whole season like we have seen it. He's probably saying, wow, I dodged a bullet. I'm telling you, when they were sitting up there at that altar, and when Micah was asked first, I could already tell she was ruffled. When she realized they were going to make her go first, she looked so scared. And then when she said, well, the best thing I can do for you is have you go first, I was like, good Lord, I can't stand this girl. She's such a coward. She's such low self-esteem. She's so fake. She's so phony. She's so many things. But let me tell you, if Paul was wondering what he was going to say, yes or no, if he was still indecisive in that moment, I'm quite sure that the minute he realized she didn't even have the guts to say yes emphatically, I want to be with you, he made his decision right there. I don't know if he made it beforehand, but I don't know if he made it at that altar. But I'm telling you, if I was sitting across from Micah and they asked her to go first and she said what she said, the best thing I can do for you is to let you go first, she would have made my decision for me. She would have made my decision for me. And I'm so happy that Paul chose himself. I'm so very happy. Micah's not a good person. Micah's not a good person, and she really does need some things to work on. And let me tell you, she's not a good person, and neither are those friends that she calls her friends. She needs to get rid of them. I will still stick to it. If Micah wants to become a better person, she's going to have to stop hanging around the people like the Shelbys of the world. Because as much as I don't like Micah, as much as I don't like what she does, how she moves, how she shakes, I'm going to tell you, that friend Shelby is an evil little bee. She's an evil bee, because I would never sit there and relish in my friend's hurt and disappointment. Even if I didn't want my friend to marry a particular person, I wouldn't sit up there and be laughing and smiling and saying, good, this is what I wanted. Ugh, Shelby's horrible. I sure hope she's not hanging around Shelby, because she's going to be single for a long time. If Micah really does want to get married, she's going to be single for a long time if she's still hanging around people like Shelby, because Shelby is evil. Now I know why Micah became good friends with Irina, because Irina and Shelby are pretty much the same people. They're the same people. And Micah also has this sort of nervous laugh. When she's nervous, she laughs and she giggles. And she giggles and laughs at really inappropriate times. I don't know what's going to go on with her, because even when she was walking down the aisle and she was giggling, and oh my God, I was like, shut up, girl. Shut up. So you know what? I was happy about the ending for Micah and Paul. And I'm quite sure the more he saw these episodes, he became relieved that he didn't marry her. Now I'm gonna move on to Chelsea and Kwame, because even though they said yes to each other, and I'm normally the type of person where if you say yes, you know what, a good luck to you, good luck in your marriage. I'm married too. I would never want anyone speaking ill will over my marriage. So once you say I do, I'm gonna wish you a good will. But wait till Kwame figures out that Micah got said no or got dumped. Wait till she spins the story on Kwame, and Kwame realizes that Micah got dumped by Paul. What's going to go on there? I actually don't believe Kwame is going to run up behind Micah anymore, because once Micah finds out Paul dumped Micah, his pride and his ego, I don't know if it's going to make him want to go after Micah. I really don't believe it will necessarily, because if it were the other way around, then he'd be thinking, oh, maybe I should go over here and run up behind Micah. But I don't think so anymore. I don't think, because of the way it went down, once he hears the truth, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he will grow into a type of love for Chelsea that he needs to grow in. That's what I'm going to hope for these two, because I really don't see the real love for Kwame with Chelsea. I see love, but I don't see the type of love that is enduring. I really don't. So hopefully, maybe he will grow into that type of love with Chelsea, and then they will be okay. That's all I can hope for them at this point, because I don't know. We'll have to see at the reunion. But moving on to Bliss and Zack. Oh, I was so happy for them as well. And I really like this story, because where I started with Zack, I really started in the beginning calling Zack a liar. I didn't like him, and really what he was really disingenuous. But as we learned more about Zack, a lot of it was his insecurities and things he was trying to hide about himself, cover up, mislead, because he was really covering up a lot of trauma and a lot of hurt from his past. I think once he sort of faced that head on, once he had that experience with Irina, I think a lot of people, including myself, started to understand where some of that disingenuousness was coming from in the beginning with Zack. So I'm happy that Bliss had a more level-minded, had a more level head mindedness in the situation, that she took all the information she had and she knew that this guy could really be a good husband to her. I really hope it works out. I really pray it works out. But all the way up until the end, I mean, that father was Mr. Skeptical. He definitely was the one that was the pessimist in the family. I even wonder how Bliss's mom and dad even got along, because they are so opposite. She seems like such a kind-hearted, sweet, optimistic person, and he is over here a hard-nosed, a pessimist. No wonder they're divorced, because I don't even know how those two personalities could blend a long term. But all the way up and down the aisle, he was like, you know what, never settle, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, he was feeding that girl negativity in her ear all the way down the aisle. I don't know if I would want that on my wedding day. In fact, I know I wouldn't. But that also tells you how strong of a person Bliss is, and that she was able to withstand that negative pressure from her dad and go ahead and make a decision for her that she thinks is going to be the best decision. Good for her. That also tells me that I think she's going to be okay in this relationship. I think one of the things when I really didn't like Zack was I felt he was going to run over the heart of Bliss, that she was so dainty, she was so fragile that she wouldn't be able to stand up to Zack and he would run over her. I think that was another concern I had initially, why I didn't like him for Bliss. But the more I've gotten to know about Bliss, the more I realize she actually is a woman that can hold her own. I think, and the fact how I saw her stand up to her father continuously tells me that Zack isn't going to be able to get away with anything with Bliss, and she will be able to advocate for herself when she needs to. But also, she's not a person who's just going to be, bringing a lot of strife into the marriage either. I think she married the complete opposite of her father. I think she grew up with a dad who's one kind of way, and I think she realized, I don't want a man like that for my husband, and she married a different type of man. Good for her. I wish them both all the luck. Now to my last favorite couple, Tiffany and Brett. So happy that the previews were just misleading us, and that Tiffany wasn't getting anywhere near cold feet, and Brett wasn't having any type of meltdown. He was particular about that suit. I don't care. I heard you, Brett. Brett says, I deserve to look good on my wedding day. And if I got to run over here to this tailor, then I'm going to run over here and get this suit fixed. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him. Someone called Brett picky. We over here watching Married at First Sight calling another guy a picky, but people saying that's a feminine trait. I don't think it is. There's a lot of men out here who are picky, and you got a whole man who's a creative director in charge of design at Nike. I think that's where he works, at Nike, and you want him to not be picky about his suit. Get out of here. Women better get used to different men out here. They better get used to the Marshalls of the world. They better get used to the Breaths of the world, because men are different. Okay, men don't just like to go out and chop wood anymore. Men always also like to look good. Men like to take care of themselves. Just like more women out here are have more masculine traits than they may have feminine traits. So women can't have it both ways. Women can't want men to not be picky and not care about their wardrobe and not be particular, but then they can be over here and have a masculine traits and then still be called a feminine woman. The world has changed, people. The world has changed. So we better stop overlooking the Bretts of the world. We better stop overlooking the Marshalls of the world and calling them certain things. Take a deeper look. It's okay if you see it in the beginning, but just don't write them off. Even Brett said that if it wasn't for this experiment in the pause, he said Tiffany wouldn't have even been on his radar. Tiffany wouldn't have even been on his radar if it wasn't for this experiment. And I really, of all the dating shows I watched Married at First Sight, I watched Ready to Love, I watched Love is Blind. I really do like Love is Blind. It's probably one of my favorite experiments because I do believe that the physical stuff gets in a lot of way of people choosing people, because the physical takes you out of you using not only your heart but your mind, and then you start just going by what you see. I am so happy that Brett and Tiffany have found each other. In fact, they've actually inspired my next video on No Romance Without Finance. If you guys are members of my channel, you know I've been doing a series on no romance without finance. And what I do is I'm inspired by these couples of financial issues, financial discussions, financial considerations, not the love part, not the emotional part, but the actual financial part. And if you remember a couple of episodes ago, Tiffany and Brett had a conversation about spending habits and money. That's going to be the topic of my next No Romance Without Finance. The link is going to be after this video. Please click on it and watch it. But I'm absolutely happy for this too. I love their families. I love Brett's dad. I love Brett's brother with the Afro pick. I'm going to tell you, any man that has the confidence to go out with his hair like that with an Afro pick, he's going to be my friend. I love that Afro pick in that man's head. I love that daddy. He's so sweet. He's so kind. I even love the firmness and of Tiffany's dad. I even love that. I loved how I love these different types of men where on the outside they may not look like they're just oozing, emotions, but they're just there for their daughters. They just care and love for their daughters. And it just gets to show you that people show love in so many different ways. And you have to learn, if you're in a relationship with a person, you have to also learn how to receive love by the way that people are able to give it in that moment. Doesn't mean that people don't need to learn other ways to give love. Yes, but you also need to learn how to receive love from those people in that moment. So just like Bliss has to learn how to receive love from her father, who might be a little bit more hardcore, you could tell that Tiffany's dad, he is a sweet person, but you could tell he's sort of stoic and things like that. Anyway, I just love their families. I love the support that they gave their children, even in these this sort of difficult time, or not difficult, but strange or different. This isn't normal. But that's it, y'all. I really love this season. I'm so happy that we got 3 yeses on this. I don't know. I didn't watch last season, but I don't think we got this many yeses before. And I'm very confident. I'm really believing that Bliss and Zack and Tiffany and Brett can make it all the way. And then I'm still don't know about Kwame and Chelsea, but I'm going to root for them. I hope they make it. But be sure to check out my No Romance Without Finance videos here. I have the links above my head, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.